What's going on, guys? Thanks again for being here. I really appreciate that. Today I have a very cool set of tube lights here. In case you guys are looking for the big power tube lights and everything, you know, some of these lights, they can be actually expensive. Wait until you see what this thing can do and how much it costs. You're not gonna believe this. This is a 25-inch tube light. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. So today I'm going to be showing here the SUTEFOTO TP25 RGB tube lights, and this video is not sponsored by them. I'm not paid to say anything here. All my words and opinions are my own. That never changes. Today I'm going to be showing you guys here the entire manual of this light, everything this light can do and it can't do. As a matter of fact, there's not one thing that this light can't do compared to the most expensive lights out there of the same size and brightness and power here. When I was offered to review this light, by reading the specifications and just looking at the size, the length of this tube here, I didn't even think twice. Just, you know, yes, please send this to me here because I definitely want to review this thing. Because there's a lot of people out there that are on a budget and looking for something more powerful. Besides brightness and color accuracy, what is the most or the important thing, of course, when you actually take this on a fly, of course, is how long can you actually run this with these lights here? Because it's nice to have a bright light, but how long can you actually run this thing, right? So this features a massive 14.8 volt, 3000 milliamp batteries, and it lasts exactly what the manual says. 1.5 hours with this thing blasting at 100%, and about 3 hours with the thing running at 50%. Now, to charge this light here, the cool thing about it is it's not going to take 5, 6, 7 hours to charge. It takes pretty much the same time that it will take to actually draw this battery here. So 1.5 hours at 100% to run this thing full blast, and to charge only takes a couple hours. And to measure precisely here where the light is coming out of this unit, it measures exactly 24.3 inches right here. This is a 25 watt light, about 2600 lumens. They did not specify in the manual how far or the distance. I'm assuming is about 1 meter away, like most lights are measured. What's good about a light of this size is because sometimes the little lights, they don't actually cover a lot of area. So especially for music videos and other stuff like weddings, if you're shooting something there, you need like the bride dress, you need some particular length of it here. So the little 10-inch light is not gonna cut it, right? And speaking of price here, of a light of this size and this power here, guess how much this thing is? Because a lot of people will be looking for the power tube lights. You know, it's a great light and all. It does all kinds of things, and so does this light here. So this light actually costs, right now at the make of this video, $119 each one here. This is a 25-inch tube, and right now at the make of this video, they're actually running a little coupon there as ridiculous as $40 off. I don't know how long this is gonna last. They probably change for another coupon, but right now you're talking about like 80 bucks for this light here. And this light does everything, and it also comes with 246 LED lights in total here, which are 84 cold, 84 warm, 76 RGB lights. And on CCTV mode, I'm not talking about 3200 degrees Kelvin to 5600. I'm talking about 2800 degrees Kelvin to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. So as you can see, the range here, you can pretty much do everything, right? I'm actually super excited to have this light here because this thing is extremely affordable. And it also has 10 built-in effects here, in which you can also change the frequency of every single one of them, and also for these effects you can be synchronized. For example, the police light, if they run out of synchronism, all you have to do is to press the set button on the back here for 3 seconds, and then they will synchronize, which is pretty dope. And of course, this light also runs through the app, but even if you want to control this as a master and this one as a slave here, you can certainly do that even without touching your phone. All you have to do is to make sure they are on the same channel or on the same group or channel number, and everything this light is going to do, the same thing this one is going to do here. And the same exact thing with the app, which runs absolutely flawless. When you actually install the app there, it's not going to crash on you, at least it never did on my case here. So everything works flawlessly. So the app looks good, the light has the capability of mimicking each other. It's a powerful light and extremely affordable. What else can you want? This whole thing here is made of clear PVC, and the top here is made of metal, and also features a 1/4-20-inch thread on the top and on the bottom as well. The actual switch here is a manual one, which all you gotta do to turn it off is this, and then to turn it back on, you just flick a switch. And it also features a DC power here. Now, included with this light is the light itself, and thank God it came with the case, because every time they advertise something and they don't show the case, I was like, oh my God, do I have to buy my own case here, which is extremely difficult or impossible to find a case for this. And who wants to spend another 15, 20, 30 bucks? I certainly do not. So this thing comes with the case, the light itself, a full-size power supply, and also a little stand here that you can actually screw on the bottom. So you can actually place this light on top of any flat surface, such as a glass or marble or the floor or whatever, even on the grass, I guess, as long as it is stable enough. But I would not use that as a handle because you can easily grab the light from the very end here without switching off the light accidentally, because it's kind of a receded here, or recessed, or whatever you want to say. You know, if you grab from here, I'm trying to reach the power switch here, you have to physically dig in here and shut off the lights. Unless your thumb goes in here, and then you can accidentally switch the light. Other than that, you can actually hold the light from the other side and all, but don't use the actual little stand to actually act as a holder, because it might break. And they actually updated these lights here for a stronger end here, because before they were kind of fragile. Right now is solid, so whatever it is that you want to screw here, this is not gonna break. I tried to put this on a C-stand, it did fine. And the only thing that I like about mounting the light using the thread here, not only this light, I'm talking about any tube light, especially this length, because it's a lot of stress when you actually screw a little 1/4-20 little thread, right? And then you try to move the light, especially faster. I really don't like that. I actually like the Godox approach, that they actually have a clamp-on transparent little thing here, which works a lot better because the center of the gravity is right here. Right here is a lot of stress. So the only way that I would do this is with a C-stand and never touch the light, because I don't want to move the light around with a little thread here. That light on any light, unless it was like a 3/8 of an inch or something like a deeper thread. I'm talking about everything, the power tube, the Godox lights, these lights here, it doesn't matter. This light has a CRI and TLCI of 96, and the Bluetooth ranges from about 60 feet using the app, and you can also assign the light to 6 groups and 12 channels. Now, charging this light here, one thing that I like about this light is because it has a full DC barrel plug charge instead of the USB-C type, which can be a little fragile sometimes. So this thing here, as you can see, is very solid, which I like it a lot. Now, every time I review something here, of course, you gotta talk about the cons, but honestly, this light, there are no cons, because the light is like from $80 to $119 right now. It does everything they want. CCT from all the way to the warmest to the very coldest. It's got effects, it's got the RGB, HSI, everything that you need is in this light here. And it's bright enough, it's about 25 watts, 2600 lumens. So what's not to like about this light? So here's the thing with reviewing these channels here. First of all, to actually set up all this lighting here, because every single review, this is a home theater space room here. Every time I do a review, I have to break down everything. So to set up all these lights, figure out what I'm gonna say here, plus edit and do the whole B-roll here. If a product doesn't make to my channel, I simply return the product and I refuse to review. So if you're seeing me review these things here, it's because I recommend for you guys. And I've been a filmmaker for 28, 30 years. And these lights here, I'm definitely going to keep this thing here. Because the light, first of all, is extremely cheap. Because I plan to buy another pair of these for music video and all. Because most tube lights of this size here, you're talking about at least 3 times the price. And the coupon right now is what, 40 bucks, which makes a ridiculous $79.95 for this light, 80 bucks for this light. So I was trying my hardest to find a con here, because every product we have the pros and the cons. I can't find a single con with this light, because the brightness, it's got everything that you want a tube light to do. I found the only con here is because there is not enough space on the case to actually house the power supply and the other little accessories that come with this light here. So this is actually the only con, because the light itself, there are no cons, at least in my opinion here. So I have to come up with my own case here. If you are interested in something like this here, just go to Amazon and search for a Osmo, one of those little gimbal things. This is actually what I bought there. And I have to cut a few things here to make room for the power supply and all. So the actual power cords are right here, and the power bricks are right here, and this little stands are right here. So it fits pretty nicely, and this case is like what, I don't know, $10-15, no big deal. And you know, there's a case here, but I wish the case had a little pocket outside to actually house the stuff here, because I might forget to actually bring with me these things and just bring the lights, right? On a wedding, you gotta charge the light. What are you gonna do? Oh shit, I forgot the thing back at home. Another thing that I got super excited the moment that I power these lights here is to show you guys something that most lights don't have this feature. A lot of lights, especially on this price range here, on CCT mode, especially, every time you change from 2800 to 10,000, somewhere in the middle, this light is going to be like twice as bright because all the LEDs are going to be coming together, which makes the light too bright. It's going to throw off your exposure, so you have to come back here and adjust the ISO on your camera or aperture or whatever, the shutter speed or whatever, right? So whatever range that you're using on CCT mode is going to be actually keeping as best as it can do on the same exposure. It's not going to be too bright. Another thing that's awesome about this light, because every time I have a light that is capable of dimming this low at 1% and being so bright at 100%, the 1% is very important. For example, when you are shooting an astro time lapse, you want to light up a tree and you're shooting a 30-second exposure. If the light is too bright, you're going to be in trouble because the tree is going to look like crap, right? So the 1%, you can actually place the light at a certain distance. Another scenario here, let's say that you have to shoot something in extremely high ISO with the light very close to a particular object there, and that's going to be helping a lot with the 1%. So this is very important. So here's the light at 1%, and I'm shooting with the 24-105 Canon lens. The ISO is 850, the shutter is 1/90th of a second, and the aperture is f4. This is as bright as it can go for the lens, and is a 30 frames per second video. So at 1% it will look like this here, and it looks like this about, I don't know, a few inches away. And the light quality here I think is very good. So 2%, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. So it looks like this here. So here's what the light looks like in all kinds of angles right here, and especially if you put on a C-stand on the angle for that little Rembrandt light in here. So you decide the angle that you want to shoot. And also, I love the large knobs here because you can actually feel the knob. So the top one is to change the color temperature, and the bottom one is always the brightness, which is great. And also, when you turn it on, you don't see the LED diodes at all, whatsoever. So this is going to be providing a very decent soft light as much as it can diffuse, or you can actually place a secondary diffuse material in front of this light on a stand for that super soft light. But most of the cases here, you're going to be shooting this, you know, on a little sunset and everything, so you don't quite need extra diffusion. So you just grab the light and aim at the bride or any other person that you're shooting on a field or whatever. But if you require extra diffusion, all you gotta do is to place a little something in front of the light, or even here, as long as there's a little distance. But the best way to diffuse the light, always make sure there's a little space here. So put a little Roscoe gel, whatever you want to put here, about 3-4 inches away. Make sure there's a little space here so you actually allow the material to diffuse the light. If you put it very close to the light, it's pretty much going to do the same thing the actual existing diffusion of the tube is. And here's the whole range here from 2800 degrees Kelvin to 30-some degrees Kelvin for 5600, 5400, almost close. And then all the way to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. So it's a lot of range here. So when you actually change the CCT here, expect a tiny little jump occasionally in some color temperatures here. But to me, it's not a big deal because most lights that I've seen, it will do that. So I don't think you're going to be recording something with the light changing the color temperature here, right? So that shouldn't be a big deal. To me, it isn't. If it is to you, you're going to buy a light that's very expensive that doesn't do that. But again, when you actually change the color temperature here, notice that the exposure barely changes. So I have the light right here, all the way down, and I'm going to be ramping up. It's pretty much the same exposure, about 10%-ish difference, but not significantly enough to change a lot of your exposure here. This is one main feature that I like about lights, to keep the same brightness when you go to the whole thing here like this. You can see some jumps here, but the exposure is barely changing, just a tiny little bit. But it's not going to change to the point that's going to look like this at 40-some degrees Kelvin, and then it goes back to the normal dimming, you know what I'm saying. So most lights, when you actually go, like, you know, in this case here, probably 5,000 Kelvin, most lights is going to be doing this, too bright, and then when you actually find a warmer color, something like that, and then it goes back to the exposure like this. So this light doesn't do that, which is great. And of course, you can use this as a hair light or even shining light on the background. You can also provide a beautiful color splash on the background there, as you can see. Here's the light behind. Or you can actually have the light closer here to provide a more even, softer color splash on the background there. So whatever it is they want to do. Now, as they say in Russia, let's start the fun, to what you guys been waiting for. So let's hack light. So right now you have single light here, you dial color and all, and nothing happened here. So not to worry about it. So you press button, magic, synchronize, huh? Now look at this. Both lights work, pretty cool. So right now, you actually play with the colors here and all. This light is not doing anything, and I'm not using any app. So to synchronize the light, you just press the button here, and I don't even have to look. So as you can see, the light is already synchronized. I better look at the standard little display here. This is how easy it is for this light to synchronize, which is pretty cool. So you can do your light intensity here and all. You can actually switch to the CCT, whatever you want to do. And the cool thing is the light memorizes, for example, if you want like 8% on CCT and 78% on RGB or whatever it is they want to do, and every single effect also is going to do its own percentage. So this can actually be useful for a bunch of situations. So you can also switch to the HSI, and same exact thing here without the colors and all. And if you don't want the light to synchronize, simply go to the group here, assign something other than the same identical thing, right? And then when you dial here, only this light is going to be doing the stuff that you're telling it to do, and this light here is not going to do anything. So I'm actually going to be changing to another color here, and as you can see, this light is not doing anything. It's absolutely awesome. Another thing that I almost forgot to mention, of course, this features a green magenta correction in case you want to match this light with another tube light or another light they're using here. So for example, this one here. So with the green magenta correction, you can go from 0, which is neutral, to -10, which is the green side, and +10, which is the magenta side here, if you want to match with other lights here. Right now, I'm going all the way down to the green side of the light. There you go, -10. And let's ramp it up to +10, which is the magenta side of the light. So magenta, and then green. There you go. So right now I'm going to be showing you guys the app here, which I have completely uninstalled because I don't find a way to actually delete these lights there. So let's go to the App Store again. So the name of this light is SS LED Video Light, which the box comes with a QR code, which you can actually easily download for your Android, and also it works both with the Android and the iOS platforms. So I'm going to re-download the app here. Now we're going to open. And then use Bluetooth, allow of course. And then add device on the top right. There you go, it's immediately found. And then you select those two, add to my devices, done. Then click on the top left here, the arrow back, here's the lights. And then you can actually open one of them. So here's both lights working. Color temperature and all. And here's the green magenta, so towards the green looks like that, and towards the magenta it looks like that. I don't see a whole lot of difference here, but I can see changes at least a few percent, but it's here. So let's launch the app again from scratch. Takes a few seconds, loading and all. Connected, wait. There you go. Now you come here, everything works as it should. Doesn't crash, doesn't freeze, color temperature. Then you go to the HSI, you have your controls here. All the way outside is in full color range. As you go towards the center, of course you have your saturation levels, right? All the way green, also green, you know how that works. You can also type the value, for example, the hue. If you want 240, for example, 240, hit confirm. Even though this is appearing like gray, I thought it wasn't working. You just hit confirm, it will take you to the 240. 120. It's going to take you to the green. There you go. Or the saturation level. If you want, like, I don't know, 85, it's going to drop to this. Or 50%. There you go. So everything is extremely easy here. And then the RGBs, we have the red only, the green only, the blue. Everything is as simple as that. Now this is the RGB CW light, which they meant as RGB, green, red, and blue, plus the code and warm. So the CW, the code, and the warm. This is what the CW means. Now over here, as you can see on top here, it says control channel 2, group A with all devices. When you change the group, and it's going to be updated here to something else, for example, channel 3 and group F or something, right? Or you can actually apply to current device only. So I'm changing the intensity here. Only one light is doing that. See that? Then you apply again to control channel to all lights, and they're both going to do exactly what the other one is doing. But what I like to do, which is easier, you simply come here and change the group name or channel name to a different thing rather than having this thing here, because sometimes it's a little confusing. So it's very simple. To operate both lights, make sure they match the same channel and group here. And if you want to operate them separately, just change the group and they will be independent. Regardless of what it's saying here on top, here, either apply to current device or whatever. Just don't worry about this. Now on the top left, press the arrow here so you can actually add more devices, or on the bottom you see devices or groups. So group, you just click on the plus sign on the top left, and then you name the group. Group 2, whatever, confirm, and then you add the lights that you want. Add device, and then you can add whatever device. I'm not going to do this right now because I don't want to work as a group. Edit, you can delete, confirm, out of there. Go back to the bottom left, which the devices are here, and it starts over. And here's the extra effects. For example, let's go to the police light. And a lot of these lights here, you cannot edit the speed or the frequency, and this particular light and app here allows you to do that. So let's do a good intensity here, about 30%. And then here's the frequency 1 all the way to frequency 10, for example, or something in the middle here, which is great. Same thing for the fire, the intensity, as bright as you want or as soft as you want here, and also the frequency with the number 1, very slow, very subtle changes, all the way to, you know, crazy fire and stuff like that, which is great. And as you can see, the color is pretty nice as far as fire goes. And I believe, yeah, it is actually using the CCT lights and not the RGB lights, which in my case here, or preference, I prefer the CCT as a warm light instead of using the RGB, because it throws some unnatural greenish, yellowish kind of tint to the thing. So I actually prefer this one here. So going to the effects real quick here, this is the lightning. I like the frequency higher, so it looks like this here. The police, you just saw that. The fire truck, it looks like this. You can actually, you know, speed it up or slow it down, intensity and all. Ambulance looks like this, and the fire. Now the fireworks, I was expecting the RGBs to be kicking in, but apparently you can only have the CCT on a particular color temperature there, but probably daylight or something like that. So you can actually vary the intensity and the frequency, but not the colors. And then the faulty bulb, I think this one is a nice one. And also the frequency, how frequent the thing is gonna flicker, right? And of course the intensity and all. And the TV, same exact thing. If you want the thing to change very fast, you just choose your frequency here. So I think at frequency 8, I think is a more realistic thing here. And the RGB cycle is a very nice effect here. And the frequency all the way to 1 is going to be very nice and slow. The colors are going to be gradually changing, and there's no flickering, there's no ramping here, no jumps. Everything is very smooth, as you can see. So it's very useful, this effect, all the way to the number 10. And again, very smooth transition to what I can see here. And of course, the intensity, as bright as you want. Even with the light in front of my face here, everything looks very nice. And this light is exactly 8 feet from that projection screen right there, which, by the way, is not white. It's a semi-gray projection screen, so this is why the CCTs, they look a little grayish, because it's not a white surface over there. And then finally, the paparazzi here. So you choose the frequency and all, or the intensity. Now let's go back to the effects here. Just want to show you something. On a police light, for example, through the app, as you can see, both lights, they are synchronized. Everything is going on at the same time, right? Now without the app, all you have to do is to press the set button here for 3 seconds. If these lights turn out to be not synchronized, it will synchronize. Now only 4 effects you can do that. The candlelight and other effects, the paparazzi, whatever, you cannot synchronize for some reason. So the manual says only the 4 effects, such as the ambulance, police light, maybe fire, I'm not sure, but 4 effects. When you read the manual, you're gonna see that. So let's go back to the police light here with the synchronization without the app. So when I actually turn this light later, as you can see, it will probably run out of synchronism, as you can see here. So all you have to do is to press the set button and hold, press and hold for about 3 seconds or so. And then it goes back to synchronism, as you can see. Now they are synchronized. If that doesn't work, just try it again, because as you're pressing, you can actually do out of synchronism. You press it again until it synchronizes. Press and hold. You can also press the other set button here. Then it's synchronized again. So if it doesn't work, just keep trying once or twice, but it will synchronize. This is a cool little feature that you can actually synchronize. Now, I think when you launch the app, it automatically synchronizes. Same thing with the fire truck here. If you press the set button, you can actually put this out of synchronism. Then you press the set button again. And again, I think. There you go. Now it's synchronized. I think you have to do, I don't know, you gotta get the hang of the thing here, but it does synchronize. So right now I have the light mounted on a C-stand using the 1/4-20 side of the C-stand here. So you turn the light on, as you can see, it looks like this. And apparently there's no way to update the firmware because I haven't seen on the app any option to update the firmware. Plus this light does not feature any USB ports, so I guess there's no way to update the firmware. As you can see, another feature here that's very unusual, this light actually lets you see how hot the actual light itself is getting, temperature-wise, in Celsius degrees. I love these large knobs here rather than these tiny little knobs as far as the brightness and the main settings here. Just memorize the brightness of the light is always the bottom knob here, good to go if you're in the dark or if you can't see the back of the light here. So as you can see, this is the brightness from 100% in 1% increments all the way to 0% or 1%. Now these buttons here, you can switch to the CCT, effects, the group, and also the RGB and HSI. But when you actually press this button here, you can do the same exact thing. It goes from CCT to the HSI to the RGB CW, the effects, and back to the CCT. So each one option you choose is good, either this or these buttons here. Now to change the color temperature, you simply rotate the set button to whatever color temperature you like, which are in 100 Kelvin degrees increments. So from 2800 degrees Kelvin all the way to very quickly set to 10,000 degrees Kelvin. When you press the set button once again, it switches to the green magenta correction here, which you can actually range from -10 towards green, 0, which is the neutral, or towards the magenta side, which is +10. If I place my hand here, I think it can change slightly to the green and all the way to a little bit of magenta. So the color correction here with the green magenta is very slight. So you can barely notice the difference here, but it's doing a little something. And if you take too long here, it goes back to the color temperature. So you have to press the set button again to make sure it is here. So if you take too long, in a few seconds, it goes back to other than here. Like I said, I can actually press this button here to cycle through the whole thing, or you can actually press the CCT or the HSI or RGB, press it once again, here's your RGB, and press the group channels, in which you can actually change from channel 1 all the way to channel 12. Press this button again here, it goes from group A all the way to group F. When you press this button here on the HSI to change the hue, all I have to do is to rotate the set button. So to change the saturation, which is currently at 50, press the set button again, press it in, right? And then you can actually rotate until you reach the number 100, which is full saturation. If you keep going, you start over again. So when you reach 100, just set it to 100. Now to change the intensity is the same knob, is this knob here, which is the dim. Press the button once again here, you're gonna reach the RGB CW, which by rotating the set, that's when you change the colors here. So let's start with the R first. Press the set button, and then you simply rotate the dim button. If you want pure red, don't leave anything other than 0 here. Then rotate the set button for the next color. It's gonna be green only. Then rotate the set button again, that's the blue, and such. Same thing with the other ones. Now on the effects page here, press the effects button, in which you can actually change the effects by pressing the effect buttons again. And also the set button changes the effects as well. So whichever button you want to press here is fine. So right now it's the lightning, frequency number 7. To change the intensity, you just turn this knob here. And to change the frequency, you just turn the set button. So you have the very slow lightning, and it's going to take a long time for the next lightning to come up in this case here, which is great. And then the maximum frequency is going to be more frequent as well. The interval is less. And over here features a very robust, impossible to break DC plug here. And on the other side will be the power switch. So that's what I got for the review of these lights. If you find the content of this video useful, you know what to do. And if you want to comment anything there, I answer to everything that I see there. So this is one of the good things about my channel, is because I don't ignore my viewers. This is a tech channel. I do this, you do the same thing that I do here. So we're on this together. So please leave a comment down there. I'll respond to everything. So thank you very much once again for being here. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time.